into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akaman. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah!
That's what I'm talking about. Welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV. My name is Monse Bolanos, and you are here for the season finale of Scorpion on CBS. Woo! Across me, my awesome co-host.
Oh, thank you. Hi, guys. I'm Marina Santos.
And I'm Ryland Adams.
Yeah, where can we find you guys? Real quick.
Okay, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Marina Santos Fit.
We're forgetting our names over here. I'm at Twitter at Ryland_Adams, and Instagram is without an underscore, just Ryland Adams.
It's true. I tried to look for him, and I had to.
It's some other dude. It's some guy that just won't give it to me. So, whatever.
And once again, I'm Monse Bolanos. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos, MonseBolanos. Before we really get started, gotta remind you guys to rate us 5 stars, please. For all of you that have rated us throughout the season, thank you. Thanks for commenting, all of you guys who have commented throughout this past season, like the last couple of weeks, if not months, because we had such a big break. Thank you for commenting. Comment on this. Tell us what you think. I'm just gonna give some shout outs to the people who commented this past week. Yukon Chick, I totally agree with something you said. You made me realize I was upset about Walter being so mad at Cabe last week about the trust thing, and she was like, but he has so low EQ that his trust would be broken at that point. And it's very true.
That is very true.
So thank you for pointing that out. I'm also going to give a shout out to Veneri. I hope I'm saying these names right. Justine Lentini and Charlotte Patterson. Thank you. So comment again. Let us know what you think of the episode.
Thanks,
now,
guys.
Right?
Yeah, the season finale.
Season finale. One word. What did you think of it?
Oh, gosh. You just put me in the spot.
Okay. Hashtag hectic.
Hectic. Good word.
Hectic.
Heartwarming.
Heartwarming. Two completely different
what about
words.
you?
Well, different, yeah.
I agree with both. I wish I could find one in the middle, because that's totally right. It was hectic,
but it was heartwarming.
and it was heartwarming. We saw a different side to Walter.
We did.
Yes.
When life-changing, altering situations happen, you got. Although I didn't get as much as we wanted. We'll get down to this further in the line, further in the episode. But he didn't go as far as I would have liked him to.
Hashtag truth.
A near-death situation.
Right?
You know?
I know.
So but I don't want to jump the gun, because we start off where it picked up last time.
Yeah, so we start off exactly where we picked off last time, and all it really tells us is 8 hours later. So we open up at the garage. We do get a preview of what happened the last time, as you all should already know. If you haven't seen it, don't listen. Walter is in a very bad car accident by himself.
Which nobody knows yet.
Nobody knows yet, because we're 8 hours later, and we start off with Toby, Happy, and Sylvester at the garage. The whole trio is upset in their own way, for different reasons, as to what has unraveled from the night before.
I mean, their whole lives have
changed
because they no longer have technically a job.
Right.
And now Scorpion is no longer affiliated with Cabe either, as we see, which is like kind of sad.
It is kind of sad. And we see Sylvester kind of being like, guys, Walter's not answering. We should call Paige. We should call Cabe. Happy's the one that's like, at first, no.
She's mad.
She's
mad. I was sitting there being like, oh, she's mad. I mean, somebody had to be mad, but it also made me sad that Ralph was so sad. We saw a bunch of times he was sitting there calling Walter, and Walter wasn't picking up. But Happy just wasn't having it. She was throwing shade at everyone. She's like, no.
Yeah, she threw shade at Happy when they had their conversation, because the whole beginning of the episode was people trying to call each other, trying to get a hold of each other, except for the trio that's together in the garage. Everyone else is kind of on their own thing. Paige is getting ready to leave to Portland. Cabe is still with Merrick at this point. At this point, very quickly, he's no longer with Merrick. But everyone's kind of trying to call each other, and there was a lot of shade thrown to each other between Happy and Paige in that phone call.
Right.
Which I was like, man, Happy is not happy.
I get it, because in a sense she feels like Happy came in out of nowhere, ruined.
You mean Paige? Happy feels okay.
That Paige came in out of nowhere, even though Paige was kind of there at the beginning of Scorpion's takeoff. It was like she got into Walter's head.
Well, yeah, they
You
were
know?
friends prior to Scorpion. You're right. Paige was there from the beginning of Scorpion, but she wasn't there from the prior.
The struggles.
Exactly, the struggles.
And it didn't seem like she was taking them into consideration with her decision, right? It was all about Ralph, which it should be. It's her son, but like at least express
yeah.
a little more.
She did never. Yeah, nothing was ever said to them. It was kind of to like Walter and out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like flipping out, leaving. I got to do this for my son. Like at least show some gratitude.
Yeah, because
or like,
you've worked with those people as well.
Yeah,
which is
of
a
course.
good point.
That is a good point. I just feel like she was just so mad at Walter.
That she probably wasn't even thinking.
She wasn't even thinking it, which sucks.
It was
Yeah.
thinking
It sucks.
in the mindset of her child as well, because it's different. It's not even about her. It's about her son, and when her
Right.
son's life is at danger, it's like this is no longer healthy for us as a family.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. It's her son and it's love. And
it's
people do stupid things when it comes to love and family. So we understand
But we
that.
also know that Happy is cold in all terms of relationships. Like
Right.
her, even with her relationship with Toby, it's not like she's just warming up immediately to anything. So I think that's just how she deals with like the rejection of Paige. You know,
Yeah.
she's like, fine, you left, and I think it comes from her upbringing too, because we know that her father left. Like so many
Right.
people have left her that she's used to this, to just shutting them down. Just
And that's,
being like, no.
yeah, I was just going to say, this is
That's-
probably what she does every single time.
Yeah.
Just shut him out and then kind of time heals itself in a
Yeah.
sense. So the way we find Walter, or everybody finds Walter, is the trio. So Sylvester, Happy, and Toby. They go to see Mr. Elia.
We always
I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but the actor is Andy Buckley, who I remember him most from The Office, because I love The Office.
Yes.
He played David Wallace, and now he is Richard Elia, one of those. And they go see him to ask him about the car.
Yes.
Because they want
VIN?
the VIN number.
VIN number.
Yes,
Yes.
so that they could track
the
it
car.
exactly, because they weren't having luck with Walter's phone or GPS or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then the very next scene cuts to them driving, and they stop in the middle of the road, and you even say, "That's where you stop, just in the middle of the road."
Like right on
they're
the
going-
curve of a cliff.
Okay, because it's going up the canyon too. You know, when you're like driving up canyons, especially in LA,
can't
you
see
can't just like
anything.
stop around a corner. So they just like, oh, this is where it says Walter is. We're gonna park the car. I'm like,
Just stop.
Yeah, quite convenient, quite easy.
Yeah.
But you know what? I appreciate that, because we didn't waste time looking for him. It went straight to, all right, let's find him and let's get the
yeah.
episode really going. So they find him, and they find him because they call him. They find him, and they decide to yell his name to see if he's conscious, because
Right.
they haven't heard from him. He wasn't conscious, but it seems as though they wake him up.
Okay.
Yeah, which was
also, I
a
get
little
why
weird.
this happens, but like, how come his phone has been ringing all morning and he wasn't able to answer it? But now that the crew is right above him, he can conveniently reach his finger over to answer.
He
and be
wakes
like,
up
hey,
and-
guys. You know, I get that it's like the TV magic of it all,
Yeah.
but I just wanted to point it out.
I know, and he had been in there for a long
Yeah.
time. Like, well, I would guess like 10 hours,
At
Well,
this,
yeah,
I was just
'cause
gonna say,
8
at this
hours
point,
later,
yeah,
it
it's
has
gotta
to
be
at least
10.
which
10.
is crazy.
10,
That
11
he was
hours.
passed out for
sitting
that
in
long.
a car, and like the
Thing is, like,
rail is
stabbing
going
him.
into his spleen.
I'm gonna defend Walter and the whole thing about yelling, because I can be asleep and I can hear it like my phone and it won't wake me
won't.
up. But then the
Really?
minute you're like, Monse, like you could whisper my name and I'll be like,
But the
what?
thing is, he wasn't
Situational.
sleeping.
Like, yeah, that's true. He was
He's
yeah, you're
passed
right.
out.
He's
He
passed out.
fainted. So it's like, I don't know.
You know, maybe that, but they didn't. At least it wasn't like they yelled Walter once and he
Yeah, I
heard them.
think
They did yell his name multiple
Right.
times, and they finally got his attention. He's awake, but they realize that if he moves, instantly they realize if he moves, the car will fall 300 feet.
Always.
Yeah,
There's
of course.
always an
Of
issue.
course,
They're doing
'cause-
calculations, getting the calculators
Scorpion.
out.
Yeah.
And of course, they've already called for backup, you know, but it's like not the kind of, like, they want people to comply with them and what their situation is, but they don't realize there's like law enforcement.
Yeah.
Right, and at the same time, Toby is trying to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Trying to find out exactly what's going on with Walter, because Walter tells him he's in pain, and they use like a drone. Yeah,
Which
That's
Happy
cool.
said she was making for
who's? Sylvester.
Sylvester's birthday present. It
exactly.
wasn't finished yet. And he's like, oh, like, you know, he's already drooling about this gift.
Right, and then they make it a camera, and this drone, this birdie drone, flies down to Walter, and they show that he has metal from the guardrail smashing into his side. He looks like he's still stuck on it completely.
Yeah.
And Toby says it's really close to the spleen. which if it punctures the spleen and you see red blood, it's really bad.
Because they were saying it's just like the spleen's a sack of blood, but you technically don't need the spleen,
Right.
which I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, but I'm assuming, like he said, losing a pouch of blood.
Right, because even when it did come out, he was like, he has 4 minutes to live if he doesn't do something
If it keeps
about
bleeding
it.
out. Yeah.
Right.
Because it's such a big sack of blood, I guess.
Right, and at this point is when, you're right, when they're trying to kind of not listen to the officers.
Yes.
And then them not listening gets them arrested for like
Of course.
30
And
seconds.
That's what I did love too. Happy's like, I'll admit, Paige would have handled that situation better.
Right, because who mentions her? Is it Sylvester that says this is why we need Paige or something?
Happy was the one that said she admitted that, like.
No, but right. But prior to
Yeah,
that, one
no.
of them, it's like Toby Sylvester's like, this is what Paige was for, to handle the cops and to handle
Right.
the situation.
Well, she is. She does tie that group together in
Very
the
true.
sense that she's a normal, interacting human being in the regular world.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, trying to get a hold of Paige was like hectic too before she had gotten there.
Right.
And then I want to point out when she did get there, girl was running for like an hour before, because poor Walter is just sitting there like, I just want to talk to Paige. I just want to talk to Paige, because we think that he's gonna like go on this rant about how he loves her, but that never happens.
Opens up his heart.
Yeah, but no, but then she's just running and running and running.
Yes, when Paige does get there, this is very true. We made a comment about it. We're like, man, she's been running for a really long time.
Forever.
But
Far away.
prior to her getting there, nobody could find her.
No.
We're trying to find her. It's already established. Walter has already established that he wants to talk to her because he thinks he's gonna die.
Yeah, and you don't want to leave on the fight that they left on. That would have been
Right.
tragic.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
And then finally we get Cave at the scene. Finally.
Yeah, so like the whole crew. Well, Cave actually got there prior to Paige.
Oh yeah, Paige
yeah,
isn't
yeah.
there until right now we can't find Paige, but Cave gets there. They just got arrested. Cave gets there, flashes his scuba license because he is no longer part of Homeland
Yeah, we did leave that
with
out
Merrick.
too. He pieced out of that. He was like, you could take that case and shove it.
And turns in his badge at the very beginning of the episode. Good job. I was very happy about that. And then he shows up, flashes some license for scuba diving. Good for you.
I gotta say, all of this stuff is pretty ballsy though,
Yeah.
because they're all just like leaving their jobs like it's nothing, like they don't need to be employed or don't need to make money. They're just
It kind
going.
of shows that, like, if you have confidence, you can kind of pull off anything.
Well, we
Yeah.
hope so. We don't know where it's going. I think that we'll leave that for predictions, but
Yeah, but they're probably like, we're Scorpion. People know about us at this
Yeah.
point.
yeah,
Like,
they're on the news all
they're-
the time. They have made the news a lot this season.
Every week, actually.
Yep.
I don't know about every week, like on the
Almost
actual
every
news,
week.
but a lot. Yeah.
A lot. So as we have everyone together, basically, besides Paige. Paige's still on the run. Ralph is upset. We know that that's happening because Ralph hasn't talked to Walter and he's not happy. But in this whole thing, they come up with a contraption where basically Cabe is going to be a wrecking ball.
Yes, and that's Happy. Like Happy disappears,
yes.
and Walter was like, "Where did Paige go?" And
Where did Happy go?
Toby, yeah, and Toby was like, "Oh, there's so many of them." Toby was like, "She had an idea, and you know what happens when Happy gets ideas." And then she comes back with this wrecking ball idea.
Right. I missed a big one. The oil draining.
Oh,
We had
my
to
gosh,
get
yeah.
yes, because there were so many things happening on the car with Walter. Of course, it's not one thing. It's not that he's gonna fall. It's everything that's happening around
And,
him.
and
the
the
whole
bird.
episode stays hectic.
The whole
Like, it
episode
just-
stays hectic. But they need to stop. They need to drain the oil because there's gonna be a fire if
Yes.
they can't drain the oil.
Started steaming, and he said it got to like 130 degrees.
Or
He's
so.
like burning up, yeah.
Right.
Or
and
so.
or so he says, give or take. And then they make a sniper rifle, basically is what she called it, to drain, and she shoots out this thing to puncture where the oil is in the car, and then it starts to drain. And then
Fire goes away.
Fire goes away. One thing to not worry
And
about.
they use like a camera tripod. The things that they make in Scorpion, like the tools that they use to make contraptions to save people's lives always just kill me.
Yeah.
Seriously, this whole
The toilet paper at that one time.
Yeah.
When they're in the
yeah.
kitchen and they grab like paper towels and she like threw this like toilet.
oh, that's
flushing
right,
thing.
that's right, yeah.
That one killed me.
This entire season, we have learned that you can really make anything out of anything.
You can make
You just
weapons
gotta-
out of your
but
kitchen supplies.
You gotta be a genius though.
You gotta
Don't do it,
Yeah,
though.
don't try this at home. That should be our hashtag for the day.
maybe.
Don't try this at home. So we drain the oil, and then something big happens where Walter is losing consciousness, and he electrocutes himself. with
To
the
stay
wires of the
awake.
car to
Yeah.
stay awake.
Yeah, well, he gets unattached from the metal thing going into his
Starts
spleen,
bleeding.
and he's freaking out basically because you're bleeding, you
Yeah.
know? And so he's looking
bleeding out.
around this rich dude's car to find something, and he finds that silver pin, and it's like, what can I do with this? And Toby's like, well, if you heat it up, you can stick it in through your rib cage, and if it...
Yeah, I love all the times when it was like, oh, he's about to die, and then something happens to save that moment.
Yeah.
And just
Right.
like in that moment.
And there's another one, and another one,
Right.
and another one.
And the
Toby.
bird. Let's not forget the bird.
Right. The bird comes after this pen that Toby was like, if you like this pen, you can put it in your spleen and it would melt and stop it from bleeding. He had to puncture his own
Right.
spleen, right? So he does that. We move on. And then we do get a bird. Of course we get a bird.
Of course we get a bird.
What else are we going to get?
Can you imagine, though, in this episode, how, like, where do you think they were filming this? Because his car
Oh, yeah.
is, how do you think that they, was it a green, I don't know, like, where do you think they would have propped
You would
Walter
think
up
that it
in
was
the
a
car?
green screen. But that would be
Because
difficult.
their exterior shots looked like it was over the valley hills
Mm-hmm.
somewhere, but like I'm curious as to where and how Walter's scenes were shot.
Yeah.
Because it was like high intensity stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like that's props to Walter for being
Yeah.
on the cliff of a car and making it so realistic. He did a good job at that.
He did do it.
If any of you know where or how they filmed that, let us know. But I don't think it was a green screen. I bet you it was like,
They can't prop him on a mountain.
Yeah.
why not? Why
no,
not?
there's to get all
there's
the
just no
angles.
way.
No.
I don't think so.
There's no way that was a green screen. He was in a car. It might have not been a...
No, they put a car and like
Yeah,
they fake
I'm
rocks,
saying-
and then
Oh,
the background
okay,
is a
that
green
is-
screen. So they
okay,
just fill
maybe
out.
that's okay,
So
but I was like,
yeah.
there's
and then
no
some
way.
CGI stuff.
Yeah, so they built like the basics that are going to be
Like
like
the-
right on
okay.
the shot, and then the rest is green screen.
But then their exterior shots where everyone is
Is
up
at the
there,
top, that's
all
where
the
it's
way, that
actually
has to
over.
be. But yeah,
It has to be.
It's interesting. It probably was high production stuff.
Yeah, good
Probably
job.
cost a lot.
It was nicely done. The
It
fact that
was.
I can't tell what it was, or that we can't tell exactly what it was, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That is a good thing.
So this crow that weighs like 1.2 pounds
Mm-hmm.
lands on the hood as Walter is basically dying slowly but surely. And they
surely. He's
at this
surely
point
going
he surely
down.
is. Nobody has said anything positive about him surviving. Nobody.
Yeah.
And so this crow, if it flies away from the hood, the car is gonna fall.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to magically get this crow, who is a free-spirited crow, to not go
Can
anywhere.
you imagine
Yeah.
your life depending on a crow?
Seriously, freaking crow
And
too.
not
It could
getting
be
it
like
to
a more
fly?
beautiful bird or something.
I wonder what the average time of like a crow stands for. I feel like they're never just being
one
still.
place.
No.
you know?
Except in the mornings when they perch on my roof.
And they're just.
Are they just there?
Oh, yeah.
Every morning I wake up to birds at like 6 a.m. I'm like, can you at least go off like at my alarm time
Yeah.
at 6 a.m.? Like, let's make it 7, you know?
Stupid animals, right?
They're
Unless, like,
extremely
you have
smart though.
food or
Crows.
something.
I know they are.
Crows
That's
are
why
like the smartest birds.
Really?
Somebody told me that. Don't count on it 100%, but they are. They can remember.
well, I gotta do
they
some
remember
research on
faces. They
this.
can remember faces.
Crows can?
Yeah, they're scared. Yeah,
I believe that. Crows scare me. I feel like whenever I see
They're,
a
like,
crow,
creepy.
they're not scared of me.
No,
Which
they're
is like,
not.
you should be
They're-
terrified of me. I'm 5 million times your size.
Stomp it, but then they can
They're not.
fly. They have the head. They have the upper hand because they can fly. I wish I could fly.
That's just
Okay,
like
sorry.
that.
Just like that.
One time I found a baby crow in my backyard and I had to feed it worms to keep it alive until the animal control came to get it.
And what did they do with it? Just take it?
They
and
just took it.
babied
They take it and they told me that they were gonna not keep it. That they were gonna send it somewhere because it was like a real baby crow. It might have been something else, but I was like feeding it
So you
worms.
saved a crow's life.
It's like grabbing worms
Paid
from the
it
Maybe it
dirt.
was the
forward
one.
for Walter.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
it was the one that saved
It
Walter.
would have been good
Maybe.
if he had like food to put on the hood to like keep him.
I thought about that too. I was like,
was
why
like, what
wouldn't
can
they
we-
like lower some like peanuts or something?
Yeah, I just can't imagine sitting in the car with me going off of a cliff and being my life is dependent on you, you
Yeah.
little bird. You gotta stay put.
Right. And while this whole thing is happening with the bird, this is when Happy shows up with like a crane that she stole.
Yeah, they're like, well, you went and got a crane. And she's like, not exactly. They're like, you went and stole a crane. She's like, exactly.
Yes, we love you, Happy. She goes and gets this crane, and that's when we have a whole wrecking ball.
Yes.
With Cabe, and she
I
does
love
tell
that
him.
Cabe's the one that they made go down
Yeah,
there as
I know.
well.
I would think that she'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna lower it like myself or
Yeah,
something. No, because
you
she's
would
so
think Happy is like the
yeah. she's like the ninja out of the group.
Yeah, but I think what it had to do is you have to be strong enough to hold Walter.
That's true.
And so I think it was like not she knew she couldn't do that. And the strongest person, I mean, Toby might have been able to do it, but you know what I mean? Like to be able to hold him out of a falling car, like that's rough.
If they got there were a lot of moments too where after that bird leaves, you're just like, he's going, he's gone,
He's going.
He's like,
But no.
But we know that season 2 is a thing, so we know that our beloved Walter is going to be here.
I know there was like 4 times in the episode I was like, what if he dies?
And I'm
but it's like no,
he can't
he
die.
can't. We know there's a season 2. I was like, but what if?
What can you imagine if they would have killed off just like the main
character? Props. That would have been props.
That would have been props.
Yeah, I don't watch the show, but I hear that's very Game of Thrones-ish. I don't
oh
watch
my
the
god,
show.
yeah, they kill
everyone.
Everyone. There's like new characters every
Zero.
episode.
Wouldn't that suck being an actor on that show though? It's like zero job security.
Yeah.
Bye.
But that's pretty much what they would have done. Yeah. So we have the crane. It works. They wrecking ball.
wrecking ball.
Cabe over to the car.
But it barely works because we see a shot of Cabe way up high, and then the bird leaves and Walter starts falling, and like all of a sudden
Cabe is there,
like
and he put it
40
around
feet lower, and he's like, gotcha.
It was very fast.
Yes, I agree. I was actually quite disappointed with that finale of how to save him. I even made a comment when we were watching. I was like, how are they going to save him? How's it going to happen? Like, I'm so excited.
Because of course there was a commercial break before, so we're all like, ooh.
But I think it was very not exciting. Just
it
how you
happened
guys said
too fast.
The way it was shot, it happened way too fast. Maybe it didn't look
They
great.
built it up very well.
Yeah.
It was, but it would have been hard. Like I don't know how they would have done it different.
Exactly, especially
either.
if they're not shooting at the same place. If they're shooting Walter scenes one place, and like how are they gonna connect both to look good?
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
And it seemingly is fine. It just like it was so much build up to like.
Yeah.
Because we knew that he was going to be saved.
Yeah.
So like.
Exactly.
Why not give us like have him? I don't know.
Like a more exciting save, because the whole episode was so intense, hectic, and heartwarming all at the same time. And to just have it, I don't know. Maybe if it was shot differently, maybe if it wasn't as quick, like you guys just mentioned. But I was disappointed in the save.
Yeah. Overall, though, it was. Overall, it was a good
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. It was 2 thumbs up. Yeah.
But that one, the save was not my.
And there was
my
a
fave.
cute little moment though once Cabe grabbed Walter and he was like, "I won't let go if you don't let go." And they also resolved. Sorry, you can go.
No, I was just gonna say what we should mention is that Walter really thought he was going to die, and he kept telling everyone stories and good memories that he had with them as like a way of saying I love you and saying goodbye, and they caught on to that very fast.
I wanted to go back and go to each of them because
once we
he
go
does.
to the hospital because then Sylvester does point out he's like we know like that's how he brings up that he loves them through previous memories.
All right. So to end the episode, and then we'll go back to basically everything that Walter says out of the heartwarming part of the episode.
Yeah. So I don't sound crazy.
Because so far everyone's like, no, this is hectic.
It's not very heartwarming.
Very heartwarming. We go to the hospital, and everybody's there, and Richard Elias, whatever his name
is back.
Is back.
The Mark Cuban of the show.
Right. Yeah. And Happy doesn't seem very happy about it.
No, Happy's never happy about like uninvited people that aren't.
Yeah. So, and he offers them a job, Scorpion as a whole.
Yeah.
Which I thought they would take it.
I think they still might, because
Me too.
you pointed out, you had a good point saying that now Cabe also doesn't have his job with the government. So what if they freelance contract through him? Because what Happy was saying is, no, we don't want to work for your corporation. We work out of our garage. We work by ourselves. But if that guy really wants Team Scorpion and they're that big of an asset to him, he will let them work on their terms and how they work, because he's doing the job. They will be doing the job right for Mark Cuban.
Right. It would just...
Mark Cuban.
I love it. Mark Cuban. The owner of... I can't. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that they could... Yeah, that they're going to work for him, but it's going to be freelance. It's not going to be like, you only work for the company. Like, there's still going to be Scorpion, and he's going to hire them out to do whatever it is he needs from them.
Do you think Cabe will go back to the government, or he will choose to be a part of Scorpion? Freelancing, I guess. I don't know how that will work, you know?
I
I think they're a big asset to the government. So I feel like they will go back. I would like to see them take the route of going to this Mark Cuban dude, though.
I love it. How about we save it for predictions to see what's going to happen before we go too far. So we were at the hospital. They get offered a job. Paige says, we don't work for a corporation. We freelance.
Right.
And Happy gets happy because she's like, they're not going anywhere. Meaning Ralph
Right.
and what's her name? Paige. Paige.
Who's Catherine McPhee?
Who's Catherine McPhee? I'm sorry. Ralph, the whole show, has been very vocal that he does not want to leave. So by this, he's very happy because Paige also knows that he does not want to leave. And then they all go and see Walter.
Yeah.
Before he passes out.
Because he stabilizes, though, so he is live breaking news.
And they all see him, and they tell him, like Sylvester says, I love you too, because he was going to bring up a memory between him and Sylvester at the hospital. He had already given everyone else a memory, except Sylvester and Paige, because he never got talked to her.
Yeah.
But he was going to give Sylvester a memory, and then Sylvester's like, you don't need to do that. I love you too. And then everybody leaves, or not so much. Not everybody leaves.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Which is so cute.
Yes, Paige stays and asks Happy to take Ralph.
Which was like the biggest. We were all screaming in there because it was so adorable.
It was cute.
And then Happy is like, only if you babysit with me.
Yeah, she asked Toby, do you want to babysit with me?
And we were just like,
And it was so cute.
It was great.
It's like second chance.
Then they go away, and Paige goes back to see Walter alone. It's dark. You made a comment that it was kind of creepy, but
It was okay. The way that she maneuvered this was kind of
so
creepy.
okay. So if you haven't seen the episode, I hope you have. But basically, when she goes back into the room, it's kind of dark, and Walter is just there, passed out because Toby says from the drugs. He mentions it to her, and she tells him that she really cares about him, and she kisses him. Which I don't know if you guys could tell. Did he kiss her? Did she kiss him on the lips,
seemed
or was
like
on
the
the
cheek.
It was like a half lip.
Yeah, it's like kind of this
awkward,
the corner of the mouth, like
Ryland is kissing the. There you go.
But I just thought there's been so much building that I thought there was going to be either like a real kiss or like maybe some love words thrown around, but
Like
it was
a
still
love you.
so like little. It wasn't anything groundbreaking.
It was very mild. I like spicy.
It was
It was
very
cute.
little.
It was adorable, but it wasn't great.
It was little, and it was Paige. And after having gone through that episode, let's talk about the moments that Walter wanted to have, a memory
Right.
with everybody part of Scorpion. So the first person I think he tells something to is Toby.
Yes.
Or is it Cabe about his daughter? One of those two. But basically he tells Cabe that he's been watering, or that he rigged the sprinkler system at the cemetery where his daughter was buried. And that is why she always had green grass, because she was her area was being watered twice a week.
And this is
Twice a day.
Twice a day? Oh.
Yeah, twice a day.
Twice a
Twice a
day.
day.
And everybody else once a week.
And
a
this
week,
wasn't
yeah.
even when they were really on talking terms.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
This was early on.
Which shows you just Walter is a standout person. Although he might not show it all of the time, he has like these characteristics that are like really nice.
He has good intentions.
Right, but in this episode, he generally thought he was gonna die, so
gonna
he
go.
started saying
So
things.
instead of saying I love you, he just starts opening his mouth.
He just starts going down memory lane. He even tells Toby about a time that they were being chased by a group of guys that Toby had basically stolen his money, probably in a gambling scenario.
Yeah, and stayed
then-
in the like ghetto
Probably.
hotel.
yeah, and they were
like-
being chased by with crowbars and whatnot, and Toby once again is like, you don't have to do this. Everybody knows what Walter is doing.
Right.
Which is basically telling them
Then
in his own
he
way
loves them.
that he loves them. And the entire episode, he wants to talk to Paige. So that's exactly it. We're waiting for him to tell Paige
I
something.
know.
Right.
Waiting.
And then even when like the moment comes when Paige has finally finished her 5-minute run
like,
to get up to him, she's like, Walter!
And he's like, Paige, I wanted to tell you, and then it stops.
And then the car goes down, and we're like, oh, tell you what? And then as he stabilizes, it never comes back. It's just like, oh, I'm glad you're here.
Right.
You know, it never goes back to like, Paige, I wanted to tell you, I love you. I've been in love with you this whole season. and I
Marry me,
want your
have my
babies.
babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even she doesn't really say I love you. She just says I
No,
really
I
care
care
about
I
you.
for
really
you.
care for you. And I was like,
Jeez, I care for the random turtle I see in the ocean. Like,
It's
Even
so
more than
Random
that.
turtle I see in the ocean I care about. I'm with you though.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna say it again.
I
Like
care about a cute puppy on the street that, I'll never see again.
but we love Walter and Paige, and they don't love apparently.
No, they do love. They're just having a very difficult time finding it with each other. Guys, you got to get it together. This is the time this is the off season.
The time is now.
The time is now. We're going to give you guys a few weeks to get this together for season 2.
I mean, they've got it together in real life. The writers just haven't got on board yet.
That is true. And they're still successfully dating, right?
I think so, as far as I know.
All right. Well, so did that cover that cover the episode? Anything you want to add about the episode?
Yeah, I think we did. I think we got it.
Should we head into predictions of season 2?
Oh my God.
Dun dun dun.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Who wants to start?
Oh man.
Get it, girl.
Okay.
So what do you think will
I'm always
happen?
wrong with my predictions of the show, but I'll start.
Yeah, what do you think will happen
You have a
in
whole
season
season.
2?
Get creative. Just go
Exactly,
crazy.
right? It's gonna be so long until we start again that everyone's gonna forget all the random stuff I said.
My first request for season 2 is to maybe just like have your schedule more intact.
More in sync?
Maybe like actually air every week.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah?
Right.
That would be good.
Thanks for that non-prediction, Ryland. That's a request.
Well, let's see. I will say that we're gonna start season 2, and Toby and Happy are gonna be a couple.
Yes.
So I think they're gonna do kind of like flashbacks, of what happened or how they got to where they are as a couple.
Okay.
So that's one thing. Maybe Walter is gonna be going through like physical therapy or something like that, and Paige is gonna be next to him to help him.
Okay.
But I still think it's gonna take a while for him and Paige to
Get on.
Get the train moving.
I would like to see it open like a year later.
Okay.
And see a whole different realm of Scorpion. Follow the procedural, whatever, you get it. The realm of the show. But to have it be a year later and have things completely different. So I would like to see the evolution of the characters without seeing it, and then we learn through how they interact with one another.
That would be interesting.
I want to disagree with you. You don't want to see the growth between Paige and Walter?
I do, but I already think like we
It's already
know
been too
where it's
stretched out.
going. So I would like to actually like maybe Paige and Walter live together, or like that will never happen.
No.
But like maybe Happy and Toby live together, or like
Okay.
I want some changes, a fresh start.
I agree. I want some changes, and if they do a whole like year ahead, I hope they give the flashbacks. I
Yeah.
hope that they show us something
Yeah.
for sure. I have a prediction about Cabe. I think they're gonna go like half the season without him going back to Homeland, and they're just gonna kind of do freelance work.
With that dude.
With that dude.
I also think that will happen.
And then honestly, I think it's gonna depend on the ratings of the show. And then I
Yeah.
think if it doesn't work out, they're gonna make him go back to Homeland, and it's gonna be more government issues, more government tasks.
What kind of tasks do you think what would you like to see them deal with if it's not government related?
How about things that are not actually bad for once,
Like
right?
what?
They can work on creating like a vaccine for something important, or like, other projects that they could work on, creating drama in different areas instead of the drama being the problem, right?
Yeah.
Like you can but like actually do something that is good or
That
helpful.
helps the world.
I just
Yeah.
wonder how they can make a storyline every week and entertain.
No, not every
that.
week. Not every week. But I'm saying like it'd be nice if like they threw something different like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was not
would-
like life-threatening theorists, whatever going on. Like something that it was like like today's episode. There was a problem, but it wasn't related to like
Right, it was life.
it was life.
Their life.
So like
Right.
that's what I would like to see more.
Okay. Will we see Drew?
Yes, I don't think Drew will be out of the picture for a long time because he's the father of Ralph. So I think he will always be in the picture. But I think the two of Walter and Paige will make strides in their relationship. I think
Yeah.
we will see.
So will we see Drew right away season 2? Or are we going to see him like halfway through season 2? He's back to see, because right now he has a job. He got a coaching job
Yeah.
Right.
in Portland.
I think it would be like once or twice a season.
Okay. Now we got to hear twice about Megan, Walter's sister. Sylvester brought her up twice. Will we see her?
I'm still gonna stick with my prediction from a few weeks ago. Sylvester and Megan are gonna get married.
I also don't think that's like far-fetched. And
Yeah.
I think it's she's definitely going to be there because she's Walter's sister. But I think the two of them are adorable, and I'd like to see that too.
Yeah, they're really cute, and something has to happen, and if things are going to keep moving slow with Paige and Walter, we need something from somebody else. And I could see that being Sylvester and Megan, like just one episode, of course, right?
Yeah.
Being about them, and maybe something happens, like they decide to get married.
Okay. My last question for you guys. Is Cabe and Walter's trust 100% truthful now?
I think they started on a clean slate, and I think it depends on how they build. So like whatever situations they get thrown into next, it depends on how they work those out together. It depends on like how they start their new relationship as like trusting friends.
So you think the bombings, that's the last we're going to hear it? Like we've moved on, we know the whole truth.
Maybe they'll refer to it here and there, but I think it's behind.
Yeah,
It's
I
behind
think it's
them.
behind it.
Okay.
I think they're gonna have a good relationship. Like
Okay.
will be even closer than they were before.
I think this was good for Scorpion. I think that although it was like scary and a rough time for the team, I think they can now appreciate one another more than they ever have.
Yeah, I agree.
What about you? What are you thinking?
No, I totally am with you. My biggest prediction is with Cabe, and I want to say that I want Walter and Paige to move forward. I've said that from the beginning. I feel like their storyline is
kind of
very
what drives the...
right, and their storyline is very blah because we don't get a lot. Like we know that they like each other, but we don't get much else. So if we keep it blah, I hope we get other stuff like Marina mentioned with the other relationships, and that we get Megan and Sylvester. Give us something, but I hope that they at least move forward. If they don't do like a big jump forward and we just pick up right where we are right now, therapy, that would be very reasonable for them to be doing. I just hope that we see them both put their guard down a little bit.
Yeah.
Like see a little flirting,
At
see
least
a little
give us that.
Give us something.
Like
not,
actually go on a date.
yeah,
Or try. Yeah, trying.
Yeah.
trying. Something.
Because they can't not after what just happened, because now they're both like vulnerable to one another. And if they just both like go back to nothing had happened, that's going to make me mad.
yeah. Oh, I will be so
So do not
mad.
do that. Do not do that.
Especially how it ended, because Paige just basically
Kissed him. Basically
Kissed him.
said she
Basically.
loved him.
do you think he heard that?
No, I think he was
You don't think
drunk.
he heard
I
that?
just think it was
No.
a sweet moment.
No,
that
it'd be
she'll
too.
have.
Yeah, it'd be too predictable to be like. He wakes up and he's like, "I love you too." You know
No,
what I mean?
not like that.
Like-
But not to bring on another show, but in Modern Family, Haley says something to someone, and
then-
weeks later, it turns
they
out
wake
that
up.
he had heard.
Yeah, but I feel like
Right.
that's more like when people are in comas and stuff like that, and they wake up and they're not when he's like deep asleep with morphine.
But I mean, he could have.
You never know.
You
Yeah,
never
it
know.
could
yeah,
come out,
you never
like-
know. That's true.
That's
It-
another.
like, or maybe they do both put their guards up, and then like a week later, he's like, "But I know you like me," and she's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like that night in the hospital, because they're like kings and queens of like passive aggressive
That's true.
comments. So that could be a thing.
yeah. So we'll
could
see. We
happen.
can put a pin in that prediction and see
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to add?
I don't think so.
It was
No?
a great season.
Yeah, good wrap up to the season.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to find you, where can they find you?
You guys can find me throughout the week on Clever News and this week on Pop Trigger. And then if you want to find me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Ryland_Adams and Instagram at Ryland Adams.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Marina Santos Fit. How about you?
And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos, MonseBolanos. Nando could not join us this week, unfortunately, but you guys can find him on Twitter at NandoVel. And if you guys get bored, if you miss Scorpion, tweet us.
Yeah.
Thanks again for watching.
Yeah.
Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to rate us. And you can catch us some other time here at
Later.
AfterBuzz TV. Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.